What is going on, guys? It's your boy Mainomai here, and welcome back to the channel as we look to uncover some more FM21 Wonderkids. In today's video, we're going to be looking at trying to find some top young players that could develop to be similar to one of the most iconic Football Manager Wonderkids ever, and now one of the most elite and devastating strikers in world football, and that player is, of course, none other than Kylian Mbappe. Now, it's worth mentioning that we're going to explore some players at different levels of ability at the start of the game, and therefore they will be at different price points. So hopefully there will be a player for everyone in today's video, no matter who you're managing on this year's game. Before we do go any further though, guys, by the end of today's video, I hope that you will be subscribed with notifications turned on so that you don't miss a single Wonderkids video. With that being said, let's get into today's video, guys. Let's go. So then, before we take a look at today's shortlist of players, I just want to sort of introduce why it is that we're using Kylian Mbappe as the benchmark for today's video. Now, in my opinion, Kylian Mbappe is a generational talent, a unique combination of pace and decisiveness in the final third that you really do not come by very often. He is, of course, going to be very difficult to replicate on this year's game, as there are very few players that have a combination of 20 acceleration, 20 pace, with 17 finishing, 18 composure, and of course 18 flair and 18 off the ball. He is, of course, a world-class player, and we've certainly got our work cut out for us if we are going to find someone that could grow to be similar to this young man here, but we are going to give it a go. Now, it is worth mentioning, guys, that I have actually left out a few of the more obvious picks, players such as Ansu Fati, for example, at Barcelona, as that's not what we're here for. I'm not here just to point out the obvious players to you that are probably actually inaccessible on the game because of ridiculous release clauses and high levels of ability. No, that's not what we're about here. What we're going to look for is different types of players that share some of the strengths that Mbappe has that could be very, very promising on this year's game, and be your Kylian Mbappe, really. That's kind of the point I'm trying to make. So without further ado, guys, let's get into this short list of players, and you guys can make your minds up and let me know in the comments which one you think is going to grow to be closest to Kylian Mbappe. Let's get into it. So we are going to start strong as we mean to go on, guys. The first player I want to bring to you is 17-year-old Jayden Braaf. Now, he is a Dutch youth player, currently playing his football at Manchester City by way of PSV's esteemed youth academy. Now, what we can see straight away is that this young man has that kind of rough diamond appeal. He already has a nice combination of acceleration, pace, finishing and composure in the final third. He is freakishly similar to what we would have seen from Mbappe when he was 17 or 18 years of age. This young man is the same height, he's 5'10", plays on the left side of a front three, cutting in on that strong right foot, which is exactly where Mbappe started out in his own career. Now, at the moment, Jayden Braaf cannot play as a striker, but I honestly think if you get him into your first team and start hounding that training and give him some good mentoring, he could easily pick up that striker role. I'm thinking maybe as an advanced forward, I think it'd be very effective, again with that pace, the ability to pull into the channels and cause real problems for the opposition. Now, obviously, some of his attributes could do with some work, but that is probably why he isn't, an extortionate amount of money on this year's game. Now, whilst we are on the topic of money at the start of this year's game, this young man is valued at €5.5 million and is on just over €8,000 per week at Manchester City. Probably worth mentioning that the reason my game is on euros is because I am currently managing RB Amsterdam in the Dutch second tier as part of my Red Bull Revolution series. If you haven't checked that out already, do go and check it out. You might find that you quite enjoy it. Anyway, if you're playing with pounds as the currency on your game, then obviously the values will be slightly different, really. Do I think you're going to be able to get this man on a permanent in the first season? I think City will be reluctant to let him go just because I think he is so promising. I think if you're one of the big Dutch clubs, maybe an Ajax, a PSV, or a Feyenoord, etc., you might be able to sort of entice him to come back on a permanent transfer. If not, and you're sort of a lesser club, whether that be in Holland or any other country, of course, then I think you'll be able to get him on loan in the first year. I'm pretty sure City will be willing to let him go out on loan to see if he can develop his game, because I can't see him getting first team football at City. And that's no reflection of his ability. I just think the City squad is obviously of a certain standard, and you don't see many players getting a chance at Manchester City. Obviously, Phil Foden himself struggled, and he's a phenomenal player. So certainly someone I'd be looking to bring in on loan if I could, guys, in the first season. And definitely worth keeping an eye out on him, because I think if he doesn't get first team football rather soon, he will be itching for a move to a club that will give him that opportunity. So make sure that that club is the one you're managing, guys. Next up then, guys, we have another very, very strong looking young player in 19-year-old Gonzalo Plata. Now, he is from Ecuador, and he plays his football at Sporting Lisbon by way of Independiente, who are obviously a very, very well-known club for producing top young players. Now, Sporting themselves have a fantastic reputation of developing players, and this young man is definitely a prime example of that. Now, as you can see, he's already very quick indeed for his age, very strong finishing in 13, decent composure, although on the whole I think his mentals could do with a little bit of work. This young lad can certainly dribble. He's got 15 technique, 15 dribbling, 16 flair, which is fantastic. It's what you want from a player that is primarily going to find themselves in wide areas and is going to need to beat a man, really. And obviously he is left-footed and plays primarily on the right-hand side, looking to cut in on that strong left foot, which obviously that 16 flair will help him to do. Again, this is a player I think with the right training and mentoring, you could move to that sort of central striker position, which would give you incredible versatility, and you'll be able to deploy him anywhere across the front three. In terms of bringing this young lad in, at the moment he's worth just over €1 million, and he's on about 8k per week as well. Now, he's on a sort of medium-term deal. Sporting are sort of known, I guess, for getting very good fees for their players where they can. But this young man, he's only a breakthrough prospect. I'm pretty sure you could get him on loan if you tried in the sort of first season or so. But also, if you've got the financial muscle to be able to lure him away from Sporting, I'd be looking to do that as early as possible before he develops into an elite level player that's going to cost you an absolute arm and a leg. Okay, so now we come on to a very, very promising player indeed, but one that is certainly more of a rough diamond and needs a little bit more work than the previous players we've looked at in today's video. Now, he is 18-year-old Karim Adeyemi, and he plays his football at RB Salzburg over in Austria. He's a German youth player, and to be honest, I would be looking to bring this guy in as soon as I physically could, whether that be on loan or on a permanent transfer, because to me, he's screaming that he is going to become a top player on this year's game. He's got 16 determination and a resolute personality. I really think that given first team minutes, the right training and mentoring, he could become an elite player, guys. He's already got blistering pace, although his composure and finishing do need some work. So I'm not sure if you would rely on him being your main man up top in the sort of first couple of seasons. But I would certainly look to deploy him off one of the flanks early on and look for him to develop his finishing, composure and decisions making in the final third. Like I say, he does need a little bit more work than the previous players we've looked at. Some of his technicals are quite disappointing. His mentals, although they're not great, 10 is not a bad starting point for some of these key ones here in terms of composure, concentration and decisions. He's already got decent vision, but his passing needs some work. I'm really keen on this young man, and at 1.2 million euros on less than 8k per week, I think if you can get him on a permanent, then do. But if not, certainly look to bring him in on loan if he's if after you've scouted him, he's at the right kind of, well, he's operating at the right level for you, really. Okay, so now we find ourselves hunted around in the Barcelona youth setup. We've come across an absolute gem here, guys, in 19-year-old Conrad de la Fuente. He is a young American who has, of course, come through the esteemed youth academy at Barcelona. If there's anyone on this list that is itching to get out and play some first-team football on loan, guys, it is this young man here. I think he could become a very, very good player. Already he's rapid, he's got okay finishing and composure. Primarily, I'd probably play him out wide, probably on the left-hand side, cutting onto that strong right foot to begin with. I'd certainly be looking to train his finishing and composure to see if we could turn him into a deadly striker as well. Now, he's only valued at 220k, but he does have a 50 million euro release clause. Do I think you'll have to pay that? No, I don't. I think although he is a very good player, I'm not quite sure that Barca will sort of want to hang on to him and give him a long-term contract after this one. Depending on what he does on the game in the first couple of years, of course. Loaning him out is always risky, because if he does have a fantastic season for you, Barca will obviously demand a higher fee for him and make it more difficult for you to get your hands on him on a permanent basis. But if you're looking for someone to come in and make an immediate impact, guys, you're going to want to try this young man here. Certainly someone I would be looking to try on this year's game. The next player we're going to take a look at in today's video is 19-year-old Mário Baral, guys, and he has been very good as a prospect on the last couple of Football Manager games. Actually, I do recall signing him a couple of years ago. Now, he is currently an emergency backup at Benfica, primarily playing his football for their B team, and again, someone that is probably itching to get out on loan to play some first team football, guys. Now, he has got some really nice, favourable player traits. He is primarily left-footed, well, left-footed only really, and can play on the left or right-hand side of a front three. Personally though, I would be tempted to play this young man up top. He's got very good pace indeed. He's got 13 finishing coupled with 12 composure, 17 flair, so he's got that sort of ability to do the unexpected and beat a man. So yeah, anywhere across that front three, guys, he's going to do a job. His base worth is 225k. He's on less than 4,000 euros per week on a deal until 2024. I'd be looking to loan him if he's obviously suitable for my team in terms of accessibility financially, and also obviously his on the pitch ability as well. So one to monitor sort of medium to long term, I think, guys. Initially take him on loan, or just monitor his situation in the B team at Benfica. You know, he'll either be loan listed, I think, or eventually become unhappy that he's not getting first team football at the age of 19. He's, you know, coming into those crucial years now where he does need to start playing first team football. And if he's not getting that at Benfica, I'm sure he will be demanding it elsewhere. So make sure you are in the prime position to snap him up. He does, unfortunately, have a 60 million euro release clause. But again, I don't think you're going to have to pay that, especially if he becomes unsettled at Benfica and looks to force a move. So yeah, maybe a slow burner, guys, but my approach would be loan him initially or monitor his position and be ready to pounce if he becomes available. Now then, I did promise players at different price points and players that are a little bit more accessible, and I have delivered. Here is 19-year-old El Hadj Kohli. He is a young Frenchman who has come through the setup at Lyon, again renowned for youth development. Now, he is an absolute bargain, guys, valued at only 90,000 euros. He's on less than 1,000 euros per week on a relatively short-term contract. No buyout clause as well, guys. So if you are the right club that comes in for him and he's interested in signing for you, then I think Lyon are going to struggle to keep hold of him if you're offering first team football. His playing time at Lyon is only youngster. I imagine he is playing in the youth setup there and he's limited in terms of first team opportunities. Straight away we're seeing that he is fairly quick, guys. He's a naturally fit player as well. 12 finishing, 11 composure. Solid attributes all round. His mentals are very good for a young player indeed. Depending on the level of your club, not sure if I would rely on him as my sole source of goals as a main striker, but you could probably pair him up there with someone who's a little bit more of a clinical finisher, or play him as part of a front three. Now, he is right-footed and can play off the right-hand side, but I know that a lot of people on Football Manager do like to play with players cutting in onto their stronger foot, so he can actually kind of play on the left here, but he might need some development. But 100% someone I would be keeping a close eye on, guys. I think a loan deal is almost guaranteed in the first year. but you actually might be able to get him cheap in the first season on a permanent transfer too. But don't say that I don't give you players that are absolute bargains, guys, because this guy is just that. There you go then, guys. Those are my top picks for if you are looking to sign someone to replicate what Mbappé can do on FM21. Obviously, I've left out some of the more obvious players, but I hope you will agree there's a player here for everyone, regardless of who you're managing and what your budget is. I hope that you have enjoyed today's video. I've certainly enjoyed making it for you. If you have, go ahead and smash that like button for me, guys. It really does help get the video out to a wider audience, and I really do appreciate knowing that you guys are enjoying the content. If you have got a favourite in terms of the players we've covered in today's video, go ahead and let me know who that is in the comment section below and why. Alternatively, you might have already signed one of these players on this year's game. They might have gone on to do really good things for you. If that's the case, then, you know, share that story with us as well. If you aren't already subscribed to the channel, guys, you can fix that right now. Smash that subscribe button for me, and make sure you've got notifications turned on so that you don't miss any future FM21 Wonderkids videos like this one right here. Finally though, guys, thank you very much for taking the time out to watch this video. I'm going to be bringing many more of these to you. So again, make sure you are subscribed. But until next time, take care of yourselves. Check in on your friends and family as well. Cheers.